It's open when it's light, it's open when it's dark. It's the Treausre Hunt Amusement Park. Masquerade and Forest Fen are closed, but there are plenty more rides than just those. There's Beacon Star and Treasure Man, Vegas Die and Oak Island. Give them a try and you'll be smiling. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. Your ticket to the ride is the book. Your ticket to the ride is the book. Keep searching forever, start searching now. Grand adventures with K-Pro and Cow. Whistle Pig, Custard Quest. So many great rides, who knows what's best. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. Your ticket to the ride is the book. Your ticket to the ride is the book.
And there it is, everybody. Happy New Year. You see what I did there with the countdown? Happy New Year to everybody, one and all, the boys and girls all across the world, all the treasure hunter wannabes and all the actual treasure hunters. How you doing, K-Pro?
I'm good. It's New Year's Eve, and there's been an evolution of things. And like Alan Kay said, I don't know if we need to review 2020, or does anybody else reflect on, I'm a chick, so this is what I do, reflect on many years back and where you were and where you've been and where you're going. So we're going to do a little bit of that in 2020, worst year ever on earth. But also I'm going to do a little more reflection, and nobody can stop me, because guess what? I'm here and you can't tell me what to say and you can't tell me how to feel and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. I'm ornery. I'm a little ornery tonight. I'm a little ornery. So it's going to be fun because, so here's something I got my son. I got him one of those s'mores things with Hershey's for chocolate milk. There's not chocolate milk in here. Just saying.
Or is it? Okay.
Hold on. I have to mute. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to mute. It's going to be a long show. All right, everybody. What we got to do, what we're going to do tonight, everybody, is we're going to kind of recap 2020. You know, it was a crazy year with COVID, but it was also a crazy year for the Treausre Hunt Amusement Park, right? So we're going to just go through and kind of, hey, what's up, Blue Bee? We're going to go through, yeah, thumbs up the video, everybody. Thumbs up for an end to 2020. 2021's got to be so much better, right?
Because it can't be worse, Craig Carter. It cannot be worse. Actually, it can be. I know a lot of people have had a lot of struggles in 2020, but there's still a lot of positive that we can find. We're going to find that tonight, but we're going to reflect back because there's some good things that happen. There's some struggles. For those of you that do want to know, my dad is out of the ER and he might make it through COVID. He has had COVID. He is struggling. He's in the at-risk category, but they just informed me, actually, I think last night, he's going to probably pull through, which they just said a couple days ago they didn't think he was going to. So there's something to be thankful for right there in front of us. So, okay, keep going.
That's true. And Lucky Digger says, my 2020 was awesome. Well, good. I'm actually happy for you. Tony Russi says, what was your 2020 safe word? The safe word is always pineapple. You guys know that. Okay. So yeah, we were just going to do a little, from the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park perspective, we were going to do a little recap of the year on this New Year's Eve. I know on the East Coast, it's already 10 p.m. So they've got 2 hours till midnight. We still got 3 hours. My math right? We still have 5 hours till midnight over here. And yeah, 2021, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be spectacular. World Series of Fen is happening in 30 days. We're getting married in 30 days. Yeah, who knows how many searcher meetups are going to happen next year.
Mike,
the vaccine is going to be okay.
we're not getting married in 30 days. We're getting married in less than that. It's
Oh,
less than 30 days away. My God, it's happening. It's happening.
Hashtag
I got
penthouse.
engaged. I got engaged in. Yes, there's so
Yeah,
much.
so
to
the
go
year
over.
was okay, actually. It just, depends how you look at it. It's all perspective, isn't it? It's just about everything in the world. It's all
You
perspective.
know what? I had a search friend lose her son and her father in 2020. You actually know the person, you don't know who I'm referring to specifically. And she kind of disappeared for a while. She resurfaced. If you come in here tonight, I want to wish you so much positivity, and you're the most strong woman ever. She was the one that I would talk to and say, no matter what I have on my plate, she had the roughest 2020. So, and I know a lot of you have, so I'm not downplaying it, but can you imagine adult child and father all in the same year? So we're going to talk about the treasure hunting amusement park though, because this amusement park, think of us as the amusement park, just letting you know how it is. A year ago, it looked rather different. And somebody, I think it was Nomadic Madman, said June 6th, remember that day? Oh, we're going to go over that. I have notes for tonight because I don't want to miss anything. I think Mike's going to hit the rest of the amusement park. I'm going to try to focus on this ride called the Forest Fen part of the amusement park. We have a lot to cover. A lot happened.
That's good, Mr. Clue. We're glad you recovered. He's saying his taste and smell finally came back.
Oh, that's you know what's really interesting is that's how they figured out my dad. My dad's like, I don't have any taste. And he was just starting to have congestion, but he didn't have any taste. And that's what alerted the health officials to, I don't even want to get emotional about it. So yeah, I'm so glad that you're better, Mr. Clue. And I will say we have a new ride coming, and I'm a little freaked out, Mr. Clue, because I think I got the wrong Santa got the wrong ticket to ride for Mike.
That's junior edition, but that's okay. It's got to be the same rules.
No,
right?
but we need to ask Mr. Clue, is the junior edition okay? Because I found they finally have the right edition at our local one. And so I just wanted, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because we have so many new people and hunts. And I have a big announcement. There is somebody coming into the amusement park in January. It's going to be big, I think. It's going to be fun, but I'm going to talk about that later.
Guess that was breaking news, everybody. All right. We're going to talk about it later on. So first off, thank you for joining us on this New Year's Eve. We hope everybody's doing well. We hope you're with family or somewhere where you're having fun to bring in the new year. So the Treasure Hunting Amusement Park, yeah, I think we got the idea for the Treasure Hunting Amusement Park this year. I don't think we were doing this last year as far as the whole concept.
Let's be clear. You came up with that. I'm going to give Mike full credit. He said, so I might have crashed a little harder over Forest Fence Hunt being over. And he's like, but we have so many rides in the amusement park. It's like going to an amusement park. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I was not happy. And he's like, there's a bunch of different rides. Like you go to the teacups and you go to the Matterhorn and you go to you didn't name those because I grew up with Disneyland. And then.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That was back. Oh, Rooster Cogburn. Okay. I think this is the same Rooster. I gotta know. Like Rooster Cogburn was around before Rooster was around. It was on this day, I think 5 years ago. Rooster, myself, and I don't know if it's the same Rooster, so you need to tell me, Rooster Cogburn, and myself were in over on Chase Chat. I was having a rough night. Today is my mother's birthday, my late mother, 9 years now. And we had this thread going and I just refreshed all night long and we had the best. I don't know if they did. I had the best night. I think this is that same Rooster. Now there's lots of Roosters, but you were the Rooster OG. I think that's you. And we had the best time ever. And it helped me through. It was the first or second, maybe third anniversary of my mom passing, and her birthday. And I always went out on New Year's with her. And I do have to say, I didn't go out for 7 years until this guy, and he was like, there's this thing called the Stratosphere. You go up on the 182nd floor and you're coming with me. And I'm like, oh, I don't really go out on New Year's because that was my mom's birthday and I always celebrated with her. And he's like, well, you're going. I was like, wow.
Just going.
Like,
Let's go.
we're going. And we had a great time. So, but the year before that, I was on one of the hunt forums, just trying to get through a tough night. So I wanted to, if Rooster, if that was you, I wanted to say thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Super chat's on. And I'm in the spirit to be sharing tonight. There's going to be a lot to be shared.
Okay, so to start out, first, I will say before we do start, is that something that's going to be for the New Year's World Series of Fen. Right there in the chat, I did put a link where you can RSVP. I made a Facebook event, and you can actually come in. What are we doing here? You can actually come in and let us know if you're coming or not. Right here, World Series of Fen 2021. January 30th, Bally's Poker Room, 2 p.m., $60 buy-in. We've got 24 going. We've got 22 interested. Yeah, and go to that link and let us know if you're coming, or let us know if you're interested, or let us know if you're not coming. You know what I mean? That helps too, so we can plan a couple of things for the weekend. But talking about the World Series of Fen in 2019, the World Series of Fen happened in February. We had to move it because K-Pro had a conflict, and it was at the beginning of February, when normally we do it the end of January. So World Series of Fen was a lot of fun last year. Unfortunately, Tony passed away. Tony was the winner of the World Series of Fen. That was at the beginning of February. And I don't think we had any new treasure hunts at the beginning. I'm trying to think. Now, somebody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if we had any new rides open at the beginning of 2019. A lot of these rides opened after the Thrill the Chase ended. That was one positive thing of the Thrill the Chase ending. Go ahead, K-Pro.
Can I be terrible and say I didn't care about the other rides because I was so focused on the Forest Fen hunt? It seemed like it was going to be gearing up. This was before, like you said. Okay, so we had the interview in November. That was and then remember, Forrest was talking
November
about
2019, right?
November 2019, and I think we announced it on December that we got the interview. We're going to do a documentary. We
were at Cynthia's house in New Mexico. That's right.
Yes. And then by December is when Forrest was saying pretty publicly, there's going to be some big surprises in 2020. Holy hell, was he understating what he was going to say?
Little did he know.
Yeah. So then we had World Series of Fen. And then I think it was March. That was one of my last visits out here when I was leaving that Sunday, and Monday, the entire world shut down, it seemed, because the Vegas Strip shut down. Boom. But lots of stuff happening where Forrest was like, I know he talked to a few searchers about how do I get everybody to stay home? And it's like, you're not going to be able to, even if parks are shut down, etc. And then here it is, June 6th. Do you guys remember where you were? I mean, it's funny because when I talk to older people, they remember, where were you when you found out JFK had been assassanated? It's like Forest Fen searchers. It's like, where were you when
we got that email? Were we sitting on the couch or were we trying to come home? We were sitting on the couch, right? When we got the email. No.
I wasn't sitting. I was sitting in the poker group. I was at the final table. There was 4 of us left or 3 of us left. And I got an email and I said, Mike, you'd already been knocked out.
But we were here. We were here.
Oh yeah, we were here. Yep. And I said, Mike, I just got an email.
No, you said it's been found. And I was like, what's been found? I know you're like, the treasure's been found. I still didn't get it. I was like, what do you mean? Forrest Fen's treasure. I got an email from Forrest. And I'm like, what? Yeah, we were both like, what? Rooster Cogburn, thank you for that super chat. $5 super chat. Hooli for contributor of the year. She's not just a pretty face. That's right. And thank you for being a moderator, Hooli. We appreciate it.
Thank you for being moderator on all 32 channels. And somehow, this is the funny part, I think.
That's right. We were playing poker.
I don't think she likes everyone, but I think she is liked by everyone. She's just one of those fair, neutral parties, but she is opinionated. She is spunky. She is wonderful. Thank you, Holy. I agree with you, Rooster Cogburn. Okay. Yeah. So
that was June 6th and nobody could believe it. Yeah.
I was in the room and I said, guys, I got to drop off. And I put in the chat, guys, you're going to have to take my chips. I'm gone. And I think that's when everybody knew something was up, because for me to walk out of a poker room that I was, even though it was free, it was like final three. I got the message from Forrest. He had emailed me independently and he said, I'm going to give you a couple minutes priority. Get the info out. I didn't believe him because I had been spoofed by several people. And so we had a way for me to try to confirm with him. And so I confirmed it 3 different times and he's like, K-Pro, stop, it's over. And I was like, oh, damn. We went on live. I was shocked. I'll give shout out to Davio. Davio's like, you have to hear it from Forrest. Will you please call him? I did call him. I confirmed with him. I had probably 5 minutes of words. I will say I did something that I rarely do. I give Davio his number because I think Davio needed to hear it directly. And I think he did either that night or the next night. Anyway, yeah, that was, and we were on for like 5 hours.
Yeah. We went live that night and just broke the news for anybody who hadn't heard. Now, David Piazzano says, but Dale already knew, but then he says, LOL. To be clear, was that email to all the different YouTubers and forum people?
Well,
was that the first time people had known?
Dale first said that he was told in the morning, which
was it the morning the next day, maybe?
No, first he said it on one of the blogs. So then when he went on Flipside, I asked him specifically, or one of the blogs, and he's like, I made a mistake. That was about the Medium article. It wasn't about that. I didn't know beforehand. And I'm like, Dale, that's kind of an important one.
And
he has gone back.
No, just kidding.
Don't
okay, so let's get back to the amusement park. Yeah, that was a crazy day. June 6th, 2020. It was they'll go down in Treasure Park infamy. So then we kind of got over the shock and everybody was like, who was it and where was it and all that. But a side benefit, a very small one, but a side benefit was all these other rides popped up. Everybody wanted to pay it forward. With the Thrill of the Chase ending, regardless of what you think of the ending, a lot of people decided to do their own treasure hunts. And I've got a whole list here, and I was surprised by how many it added up to. And I don't even know if I caught everything. What?
Mike, can we just, for those Forrest Fenners, and I know that you were in the hunt, but not in the same way, like, can we bask in this a little bit? Like, let's go back to June 6th.
Yeah, okay.
Annie says, I was at home and got a notification from YouTube. You broke the news about it. Mike asked us to send him ourselves, and I think we crashed his email. I
still have all those emails. I haven't really read them, but I have them all. Actually,
Andy
let me
said,
check. I wonder how many emails
I was on the stairs having one of the absolute worst days of my life. And then that happened. I was actually working on the postmarks as a distraction. I threw my book at the wall and screamed. I will tell you that the hunt being over was, I appreciate that, Indy, because I think I kind of follow your lead on emotions because I think that you're a little bit more real and open about them. I think I'm a little more guarded. When Forrest passed, I think I was in shock and I went, because I just thought maybe we'll all know then. I did never think, because I think of odds when it comes to poker and all of that. I never thought maybe I would be the absolute one, or I had in my mind, like I probably wouldn't, but I did not believe. I never really put in my head Forrest was going to pass, and we're going to get to that in a second. But okay, so it's over. We're all sitting there in shock, and it took a little while. But I would say, like, Mike's like, oh, cool, it's over. We'll get more. And I'm sitting there like, I think for 4 solid days, I don't know if I talked to Mike other than when I went up to bed. I was around the clock on. Some people were on the edge. Some people were so excited. Just, what are we going to hear next? And then everything in between. So we had, I would say, from the 6th to probably the 10th. And of course I was probing Forrest and saying, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And he's like, just wait. And and there was just so much happening. So I'm sorry. I wanted to focus another extra second.
Let's do this since we're reminiscing. This is when we went live on June 6th, right here.
Is on live. Hi, y'all.
We look different.
Are we live?
What a day today has been.
Oh my
As
gosh.
you can see, We were not planning on going live at all today.
That was June 6th,
All right, start
2020.
posting it out there.
6 months ago.
What a day.
What to say? I don't know.
We were in shock.
Get in here real quick.
Wow.
And then by the end, we had
Hard to know.
all kinds of people on talking about it, remember? And what's interesting is March of 2020, we did a marathon. The last Forest Fen marathon we did was March 28th. And you can see different people were coming on and off throughout the night because everybody was just giving their thoughts. So yeah, June 6th. What a day. Go ahead, Kate-Bro.
I will say I probably only slept 3 or 4 hours because there were some people, I'm just going to flat out say suicidal. This was their way out of life. There were some people, there were so many things happening. It took the documentary in a whole different direction. For everything. It was just, yeah. And I know a lot of people want to talk about with him passing. So we are going to talk about other hunts as well, but I want to give due time to June 6th was the day that I was like half excited, half disappointed, but it was half and half. I mean, the day that Forrest died was a bigger day. Like once we go through all these, I'd like to hear what your biggest day was of 2020 when it comes to the Treausre Hunting Amusement Park. Cause I think that there was so many. So, okay. We'll go back. So that is June 6th. Forrest says it's found, and that's kind of almost it. Like it's found, more to come. Like Forrest,
You're right.
I love Forrest.
No
He
big
is
deal.
the absolute worst when it came to PR. I love him.
He did
He's
not think of
wonderful.
everything.
He did not, and he wasn't good at both crisis management. I don't think he realized how bad it was going to get. And then lawsuits started literally that next Monday morning. Lawsuits started getting filed. One was already filed. The Erskine one was already filed. But anyway, that's when it got real. Okay. So, but almost immediately, I think AGK was the first to pivot, right? Okay, you go ahead.
Well, we started the Forest Fen Treasure Found, and we basically committed to go live whenever there was news. And there was, and in the days that came out, there was news that would trickle out. Some of it was rumor, some was speculation. And then there was the Forest Fen finale, which was Labor Day weekend, right? Which you went up there. Cynthia was up there. A bunch of searchers were there. I held the fort here back home. But that Labor Day weekend, everybody kind of did their goodbye. You met Smell the Sunshine. You met a bunch of searchers you had not met before, right?
Yeah. So wait. So June 6th is when Forrest said it's been found. And then September 4th, 5th, that weekend, you're exactly right. The finale was amazing. We still had lots of challenges because there was fires. There was so much happening, but we had a fabulous time. And then Forrest passed the 7th. And I think that was probably
That Monday, Labor Day. Yeah.
Though anyone at that age, it's going to happen. There were some signs of some things happening. That's like, I felt like that's when the world changed from not only a treasure hunt, but for me personally. And I remember, I do have to say, I've had a couple tragedies in my life. I never realized having such a good person in my life like Mike. We were live and there was so much going on and there was so much that we knew, or I told him and things were happening. I spoke to the family and what was going to be said and not. And I remember going live and he said something and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. And he's like, okay, it is time for you just to talk about what you want. And you were so kind and you were so patient. And I think by the end of that night, we all had come on and we were all trying to pick up the pieces of what all this meant. So we had the finale.
Annie Oakley says, K-Pro, you were like a therapist to many. I think you and Mike showed a great deal of kindness and demonstrated how to lose gracefully and not regret running the race. Yeah, I don't regret anything when it comes to the thrill of the chase. I regret not going to Yellowstone earlier than I did, but not getting out there and doing a boots on the ground. But no, I don't regret the thrill of the chase at all. I mean, what has happened? What happens in the future with the solution and the finder and all that? That's all what will be in the future. What happens, happens. But I don't regret anything that's happened up to this point. What about you, as far as the thrill of the chase?
I'll do a little confession here. I knew that Cynthia was going up to spend some time with Matt, Justin, a couple of other people, and they were going to do Yellowstone for a little bit. And I was like, could I have gotten there earlier? Because Forrest had said he wanted to do a final interview with me, and Cynthia was going to video it. It wouldn't have technically been possible. And I was really selfish at that time because I was like, could I have gotten one more visit, this last piece in for so much closure of the chase? And I was like, really, there were so many emotions. And I remember getting off, Davio said we were barely holding it together. I remember we got off, and I won't tell you where I went, but it was in this house, and I sobbed. And I have not sobbed since my mom passed, like truly like a 2-year-old sobbed where I couldn't even speak. And I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And it took me about 15 minutes to get myself together enough to say, okay, but Forrest would have kicked me in the butt for this of what are you sobbing about? This is called the circle of life. He did that with my mom. I knew he wouldn't have, but I had that moment all by myself. And I just thought, this is time to be strong moment. But my eyes were stinging because I cried so much. Yeah.
Well, there is one thing I regret now that I think about it. And that was on that Labor Day, I got a text message from Czar and said, we just read Forrest Fenn died. And me and you had not heard yet. And we were like, what? And unfortunately, instead of walking over and sitting down and trying to say, K-Pro, I just said, hey, I heard they said Forrest Fenn died, because I didn't believe it. I didn't, that's how I told K-Pro. From over here, I yelled, hey, I think, somebody said Forrest Fenn died. I should have kind of went over and maybe we should have talked about it a little bit, but I didn't believe it was true because we didn't know. It was a Santa Fe, New Mexican, I believe is the name of that paper. Santa Fe something is the one that published it, which is how the word got out. And yeah, I think I would have came over and broke the news a little bit more gently than I did. But
me the same way. I didn't know, and I called Forrest thinking this is just some BS story, and I won't say who answered the phone, and I said, I need to speak with Forrest, and they said, can we take a message? And I said, this is K-Pro, Christy, I know you, they're reporting he died, please tell me it's not true. And I won't get into it because I don't want it to become something in some court case later. I was shocked. They said what they said. And then that's when I just melted. And because I can, that is so sweet. K-Pro pretty much saved my life at one point. Because I can, and I don't see eye to eye all the time, but there's been some really special times. So I just want to say thank you for being you. So now we've had the hunt, the up and down, the forest. I mean, we knew how special he was. We're all going through this. And some people that had never known him personally, but they knew him through the chase. Some people that were more friends. I had a few people reach out to him that never was in the chase. This was probably the best compliment ever that I got. They said, did you know that Forrest considered you a close friend? And I never knew, because once you meet somebody after they're kind of famous in the hunt, and I know he'd been through so much, I was like, how do you know who I am? And we had some discussions. It was like the best, I will tell you, it's the best compliment I've ever had in my life, knowing that. And they told me details that I was like, how did you know that? And it was just, they were like, you were a friend, and he never knew it until the end, like how much you were a friend to him. But they're like, he knew before he died. And I'm like, wow, like, thank you. You don't know how much one kind set of words just changes the world. If you're in here tonight, you sent me some nice words today. Kindness, it's so amazing how just a couple words of kindness changes the world. And that was me. Okay, but this is not all about me. So we had Forrest passing within 30 days. I do have to say I wasn't as surprised because I know Peggy, I know the world where so many people pass so close to each other when they've been together so long. So Peggy passes, and I knew she hadn't been, I think we all knew she hadn't been doing well for a while. And so we have Forrest, we have the search called off. we have Forest Fen passing, we have lawsuits about, and then now we have the finale where a lot of us have gotten closure. And so now what? It's the big now what? So now this is where we should transition to. We had this vacuum. AGK rocked it. They go into this vacuum retreat. They come up with a novel within like a month.
That was pretty quick turnaround time, wasn't it? Yeah. But Bobby pointed out in the chat, he really thinks Mr. Clue was the first one to come out with the treasure hunt first. The first treasure hunt that Mr. Clue did. So shout out to Mr. Clue paying it forward from the thrill of the chase. And we look forward to the new one next month.
Yeah, and I actually don't remember that, but it totally makes sense because I think Mr. Clue was the first one, and that actually really tells me something. Mr. Clue was a complete unknown, meaning anonymous, said this was related to the chase. It was big, whatever the amount was. I didn't win it, so I don't remember exactly Mr. Clue. And he just started, like, this began this group of treasure hunts to get us through the vacuum. I still felt the void. I will say Mike was tickled. These were the kind of hunts he had before and even during Forest Fen. So why don't you go through a few of them, Mike, as I will look in chat, and I will try not to. I will be crying by the end of tonight. Can I just make it clear? And you guys are just going to have to remember it's my mom's birthday, and there's so much that I want to be thankful for this year, but I'm going to cry tonight. So I'll look at the chat while Mike goes over, like he does, the strong, non-emotional type. Here's the new rides. Let me just open the new rides.
And KC Ma with a $10 super chat. Thank you. And he says, to the one that got away, I miss you, Tumble Bear Load. Tumble Bear Load was a huge pay it forward. There was a guy who basically dug a hole in the woods, made a YouTube video. He filled that hole up with a bunch of silver coins in a box. He told me after he shut it down that in that box were platinum ingots that were worth like 80 grand by themselves. But anyway, we saw the video. You guys, I think, know the rest. We went live about it to get the word out to the community, and a lot of people emailed this person and, well, what about taxes? Well, where's the money going? Are you making a profit? Blah, blah, blah. Because you had to pay $1 to see basically a map, and it would update every so often, and you pay another $1. And unfortunately, there's people out there that don't think other people should be allowed to do what they want to. And he closed, and the Tumble Bear Load, it got shut down. He just said, I'm not going through this stuff. And it was over. So KC Ma, I agree with you. That is the one that got away. That would have been an awesome one to look for.
Yeah. And some people said it was because we reached out to him or Mike. You know, between the source and Tumble Bear Load, there's some that think that Mike is this huge bully in the hunt. Oh my God, you guys are out of your mind, those few people. No, Tumble Bear Load actually talked with Mike quite a bit, or conversed with Mike quite a bit. I did a few times, but it was, I'm going to sue you if you don't do it this way or that way, and you have to give
That's
this.
What
and
other people were saying to him. It wasn't from us. He's not even shut it down because of us. He wanted the word out. He wanted people to know about it. So, yeah. But anyway, that was one that never got off the ground, unfortunately. But that video was awesome that he made, wasn't it? And that was really the first Zoom that we did where we solved a couple things. You remember there were a group of us in Zoom that Saturday, and we were like, hey, can we figure this out? We figured out where we believe it was, the general area, and it was really interesting the way how everybody came together.
Yeah, and for me, here's somebody, they said holy for contributor. This is where I think Bobby D. So Bobby D was at the finale, and he was very special to me because there was one night I was a little scared because there's some stuff happening. I asked him to, he was the one that I felt the most safe with. I said, could you please help me get to my room just safely? And he did. So I had a trust with him. I did not understand how astute, clever treasure hunter mastermind he was until the first couple of hunts. And that, I think Tumble Bear Load, he was in there, if I'm not mistaken, and there's been a few since then. We were, and I think it was Alex and James and a few others, once we found the map, and then the topo map, the topo map collection became important later. We had the location, and then once some honed in, especially some of the negative channels, and Greg was on there, it became epic. It was like, I have to say, even though I really like Mr. Clues, ours is the same way. You know, these, you're going to go out, but it wasn't epic like this one. This was the first one. It was like, oh boy, oh, this is going to be big. I was actually like, Mike, I'm going. I'm taking the kid. I don't care. I'm going to get a hot spot. I didn't even know what that meant. I gotta go. I was ready. The Tumble Bear load was the big one. And the guy was so nice.
It got that excitement back, and the people lost with the thrill of the chase. It really came back through that one. So unfortunately, that one did end because they didn't want to deal with the hassle that people were basically emailing them about. But there's so many other treasure hunts that sprung up. We and you did 2 grand adventures. We did our 2 that were head to head that I won. And then we did this, and then we did the second one, which was solved within 24 hours. But you're right. AGK did theirs. AGK had their poem in French. We all look forward to AGK's next one. And congratulations to, I believe his name was Christian, that solved the AGK treasure. Did we ever find out what was in the Forest Fen envelope in the AGK treasure? Anybody?
No, but I think they, Christian said he'll share it when he's ready. He hasn't opened it. He'll share it when he's ready on Amy Seek's channel. And so I think that's still happening.
You can put it on eBay for $1 and see how high it goes. But that's just me. I'm an entrepreneur. Anyway, okay. Vegas Die came out. Vegas Die, Stephen Grogan, a friend of ours, he came out, decided to revisit his treasure hunt from 12 years ago. But what's interesting is that was already planned and in the works before Forrest Fenn died. But it did come out in 2020. So Vegas Die is still out there unsolved, $2,500 somewhere in Las Vegas. Master Morpheus, congratulations to Brian Poppelman. Master Morpheus did a pay it forward. His YouTube videos were basically based on the Forrest Fenn poem with numbers. It was a weird math kind of thing. And Brian Poppelman solved that one. Mr. Clue, we talked about. We don't know personally who solved the 3 treasure hunts, but K-Pro went to Catalina Island to look for one of the Mr. Clue treasures. Didn't make it on the island, but made the trip. And we were right. It was on Catalina Island. We just didn't know where. So
wait, but I do have to say, let me tell you about the biggest failed boots on the ground ever. Couldn't get on Catalina Island because it was sold out. There were issues because of COVID, etc. So then I said to my daughter, let's just go. You haven't been to the beach since you can remember. She's 13. She hadn't been to the beach on the West Coast where there's actual waves. And we were sitting on the beach and she boogie boarded. And you know, when you don't know what you don't know and you just get your butt handed to you. I mean, the lifeguard had to go out and get her a couple times. She had such a blast. But then I got a little call that said, there's this guy called The Source. Let's go in the morning.
Well, you said there's a vacuum. The Source and the GPS solve filled that vacuum for a lot of people, if just for a little bit of time. And that was huge that you guys went up to Yellowstone, found the spot. GPS, is it right? Is it not right? I hope someday we find out, but we're not here to focus on that. But that was part of 2020. The other thing was the Enigma of Dolus. That was another pay it forward. That is unsolved. That's a website you can go to, the Enigma of Dolus. Niamo Spec on YouTube with The Cipher. It's interesting where they put it out and there's just been silence and nobody knows how to solve it. So The Cipher by Niamo Spec on YouTube. Don't know what the prize is on that one. Now I'm going to bring up the Beacon Star. Even though the Beacon Star was out prior to 2019, Randy Pischel and the Beacon Star, in my opinion, he really started making YouTube videos and getting out there in the public in 2019. So the Beacon Star is a big one. Denver, it's probably up to $8,000 now. The Beacon Star, Mr. Randy Pischel. Now he makes videos all the time. Valentine Goose, check it out.
Wait, Beacon Star is like treasure hunter OG. Like Randy
right.
is the example of what the things that are happening that you don't want to do. Randy doesn't do them. He doesn't share secret hints. He doesn't talk to too many. He has to be kind of one step removed, even though he's kind of in the rest of the hunts. He has the best treasure hunt ever because it's taking forever. It stumped all of you smarty pantses in the Zooms. He broke the Zooms. Zooms can break everything except Beacon Star. If you think you're smart, boom.
We have solved some puzzles of the Beacon Star due to the Zoom.
You solved nothing until you've had the treasure in your hand, you damn rooster. No, you've solved nothing. He has said some people think they've solved stuff and they're wrong, and I'm not going to correct them. You're wrong. He's talking to you, Cowlazars, if that's your real name.
All right, the Beacon Star. And then we had Johnny Pieri, the jeweler in Michigan, who decided instead of going bankrupt and selling all his jewelry, he was going to bury it and sell tickets. So that's going on, which I think is called the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. I don't know. The name is similar to another treasure hunt out there. So I think it's called the U.S. Treasure Hunt. So yeah, Johnny Pieri. Now he's doing chocolate bars, and you get a gold ticket, kind of a Willy Wonka thing. If we were in Michigan, we might be a little bit more involved in that one. If we were closer to Michigan.
Okay. I think there's two things that are needed in a treasure hunt. One is some good hunt, good catch, good riddles, whatever that is. And the second is good PR. Like Randy is the perfect example. I think he has a phenomenal treasure hunt. I don't think he does the PR as well. And I think he would admit to that. Johnny has both. He's reinventing himself. When something goes wrong, like one of them was solved too early. So he did a come out and he threw a bunch of coins out in the middle of everything. He does PR. He asked everybody to, his first, where they found the silver ticket inside the candy bar. And it was the mom with her little kids. And she gave each one of her little kids. And she's like, oh my God, shut up. And she was jumping and they were all screaming. I was crying. I'm a dork. I was crying for this woman. I hope you win, woman with kids. It's awesome. Johnny, I've talked to Johnny. He is so fixated, and I'm going to say that in a good way, on making sure the community is positive, good, gives back. Yes, he's making money. Sorry, that's called America. He has to eat, but he's doing such good things. Okay, I'm passionate tonight. Keep going, Mike.
And then we had the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt, Mr. David Steele. Seems like a really good guy. Unfortunately, me and K-Pro were oh so close, but we missed it. But congratulations to Beth, who did find it, had somebody go out and find it. But there's still 3 other treasures out there to find for the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. Then we have the Impossible Treasure Hunt. The Impossible Treasure Hunt is just a series of YouTube videos on YouTube. It's called the Impossible Treasure Hunt. It implies that the treasure hunt is 50,000 in gold. It implies that there's a gold mine involved, but we don't know who put those videos up. One of them has not been solved. It's a cipher, and nobody's been able to crack it yet. Like probably why it's called the Impossible Treasure Hunt. The Hatter's Hat is a new one. The Hatter's Hat is out there. 3D Bronze, Tell Me Where, has not been solved on 3dbronze.com. Tell Me Where. 3dbronze.info, I believe. I get it mixed up every time. And then the Hunt for History, Washington County, Illinois. Or is it Indiana? I believe it's Indiana, Washington County, Indiana. The Hunt for History was out from 10 years ago, but he reached out to us this year and we got the word out. So people are starting to take a renewed interest in the Hunt for History. I still need to do a video on that one because I have the map over here. And then almost like an in memoriam, like they do at the Oscars, the treasure hunts that were solved this year. Cue the dramatic music. Fandango ended, and there was not a winner. And I think everybody was surprised at how simplified the solution really was using latitude, longitude numbers. You had to fold those pages together like a Mad magazine and figure the numbers out. And what's interesting is we had dinner with Dustin White about a week before that came out, and he had that. He's like, hey, my wife Deidre says if you fold it, you see certain things. So they were close. They were on the right track, but that did end without a winner. The thrill of the chase, of course, ended. Shout out to Nick Sparrow. Him and his partner solved the Lost Skull. And Cowboy the Treasure Hunt is another long-time one on 12 that was solved recently this year.
If that's your list, I have like 10 more.
Well, you solved one this year. Which one did you solve this year?
Wait, we're not talking about Boots on the Ground clothing, which was last year.
Hey, Boots on the Ground clothing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about 6 treasures.
I remember those.
The secret red herring. And shout out to Jen, and shout out, that was the search partner. She sent me somewhere else, but then we partnered up. Women in Crime also took Mike out there, took the kids out there, got really, really pumped. So secret red herring. I got the gem. And then, right? Yeah. And then Jen actually got a ton of art because I think she solved 3 or 4 of them, which is amazing. What about Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, the secret riddle that won't go away ever?
I refuse to talk about the riddle that nobody will ever solve because nobody can get it. And it's just a case of bourbon. The prize doesn't matter. It's more of solving the riddle, but I don't know. He's given us a lot of clues and nobody's still getting it. So, but that one is unsolved. That is out there.
Okay, so let's then talk about what about Six Treasures? That one's not solved. That I think is going to be the most interesting one ever because I think it's the first like movie out there that actually has a treasure hunt in it. And Indy is the narrator, and Josh Pritchett is the, I don't know, executive producer. And it's like this crazy story. And I'm not even
That's
into
going to be a good
movies.
one. Yeah.
I'm having fun with it. We did a Zoom. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. sixtreasuresfilm.com. That is going to be a good one. And it's I give Joshua credit for making it happen. They film these episodes. The clues are in the episodes. You watch it, you pay for it, you watch the episode, you get the clues. And and the rumor on the street is he may be at the World Series of Fen. So maybe you guys can talk to him yourself. The other thing is World Series of Fen. I invite all the treasure creators to show up. Show up with your books. Show up with whatever it is you're trying to sell because you're going to have a bunch of treasure hunters together. And, I should reach out to Stephen Grogan, David Steele, Joshua Pritchett, Mr. Clue. If you want to show up, you can be anonymous. You don't have to out yourself. But, show up and put it out there what you're doing.
Put
you're
some
paying it forward.
cryptic cipher and that's your name. Be like Brian
Randy
Hops.
Pistol. You should show up with a buttload of Beacon Star books. Don't buy them.
Exactly. Okay, what about Lost Skull? Did you talk about that one?
Yeah, Nick Sparrow and his partner
Okay.
solved Lost Skull.
Okay, what about, let's see, The Secret? The Secret.
So The Secret had a Boston cask was found for The Secret, which was huge, but it was actually at the end of 2018, if I have my dates right. It wasn't actually in 2019. I think it was the year before, but close enough that it's definitely major treasure hunting news. So yes, the cask was found in Boston. The Secret's an interesting one. I mean, it's been around for so long since it's one of the oldest ones because it's from the 80s. And that, Expedition Unknown is all over it. If somebody were to find another one, you'd be on TV, you'd get the fame, you'd get the jewel from the family. It really is an interesting one. Again, for me and K-Pro, not in Vegas, unfortunately. And I will say January last year, shout out Camellia and Derek, they found the Jingle Bell Rock. And remember, they came on the show with Decal. That was in January, I believe, when they came on the show.
Yeah, and then this year's was solved. And I'll just say this year, I was 20 miles from it. I did not walk right past it like David Steele's U.S. Treasure Hunt. What about Copper Dan's Copper to Gold?
That's a new one in the new year. The first, Mr. Clue and Copper Dan are going to be the first rides to open in the new year, 2021. And Copper Dan's is very interesting. And remember, a week from today, on January 7th, Copper Dan's going to be on the program to launch his new treasure hunt. So definitely save the date. Make sure you tune in 1 week today. Make sure you subscribe, and that way when we go live. And yeah, that's a good one because you can actually order a coin from him that you get in the mail. And we all know how the Forrest Fenn coin went. We hope you have one if you wanted one. And I'm interested to see how Copper Dan's coin is going to look.
Well, and we can't forget, even though we still have additional hunts, we can't forget of the people like the John Millers. John Miller made one of our Grand Adventures.
Oh, that's right. The people who donate things behind the scenes.
Right.
Sure.
And he did the same thing with Indy. He donated some stuff to Indy. I know AGK, I forgot the name of the gentleman. He donated a huge cash. The reason that some of these are going is not the people that want to say
in Hawaii. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying I want to do a treasure hunt. I just want to donate some stuff to keep this going. So I want to say a shout out to them. Okay. Those are the treasure hunts, unless you guys have more. We do have a couple that I won't say has hit as much mainstream because we don't know what to think about them yet. Do we want to talk about Blackbeard?
Yeah, well, there's Blackbeard and there's the gold ticket. But shout out to Bobby D, who did find one of the gold tickets and got $5,000. So that's awesome when it's somebody we know. But yeah, Blackbeard and the gold ticket one, we don't talk about those because there's some unresolved issues, I guess you could say. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to badmouth them because I don't know. But yeah. We bring them up to let you know they're out there, but we choose not to talk about them. You know why? Because we're not the treasure hunt police, everybody. We're not here to police treasure hunts. We're here to give you some info and you make your own decision on whether you want to do any of these treasure hunts. It all comes down to time and money. How much time do you want to invest in these things? What's the reward? What's the payoff? And how much money do you want to put into it? Time and money.
Yes, but then someone did say there's 2 new developments in the treasure hunting amusement park.
Uh-oh.
One of them is the Zooms. The Zooms have changed the world.
Yeah, 2020
So-
was the year of the Zoom because of COVID.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And for the
No,
Treasure
because
Hunt
of-
Amusement Park, right? The zoo. Year of the
Because
Zoom.
of Mike. And I think this is the cool part, and we've never had an issue. We did have somebody drop out because they got pissy, which is fine because you can get pissy, go away. The Zooms are a safe place for people to come together. And the Zooms, okay, so for those of you that don't know, we started doing Zooms after our shows for a couple of hours. We got the idea from AGK that did a member vault. We just did it kind of as a free thing, but if you wanted to donate, because we were putting a lot of time into it,
Right.
and it caught fire. There are some people that we literally had to drop after 24 hours because after 24 hours, Zoom doesn't keep recording. So they drop off and drop back on or come back on. That kind of changed things. Some people are a little about it. They're saying that's not fair. You do Zooms. I think just like many people said 20 years ago, the internet, you shouldn't be stuff on the internet. What's this thing called the internet? Those that don't understand Zoom and what can happen, you're just the resistor to the internet of 20 years ago. The other one is, you guys ready for it? Thor. Thor came online 2 years ago. It was a place that you can be honest with your opinions. You can't attack. I think some of the other forums have dropped off. We're trying to stay on. It's been a little bumpy lately. I'm not going to lie. I'm doing more moderation lately than any of the other times combined. And I'm okay with that. There's times that I have to give more time, but you guys are being naughty. Everybody's a little pissy right now. Don't do that. Just come in and give your opinions. If you get pissy, go away. Oh, I got to put that on a t-shirt, John says.
And Bobby D pointed out that Laurel solved Joshua Pritchett's Christmas puzzle that he put in our Facebook group. I'm not sure what the prize was, Bobby. I'm not sure what she won, but that's awesome that she figured it out. So Bobby has kind of taken over the chapter 3 Zoom. It was chapter 4 Zoom. And Bobby's group, as far as I know, that Zoom group was the first one to crack chapter 4. We just didn't get to it in time. We walked by it, actually. And that's
One-foot searcher.
So congrats to that Zoom team who really is good on these. Now they switch over to chapter 3, but and I think after this I'll do an open Zoom because I haven't done one in quite a while. So just a Zoom for anybody that wants to come in, talk about treasure hunts, wish everybody a happy New Year's Eve. We'll do an open Zoom. And if anybody wants invited to that's not already on my list, just email me, cowlazars@gmail.com.
Okay, so where are we at? So June, the hunt is, so June, the hunt is over. September, we have the finale. Forest Fen passes the next couple days after that. Peggy passes within a month. And then everything changed. I believe it was November that, no, December 7th, because the court documents or the court subpoena required Fenn's family to out the finder by December 8th. December 7th, he did it his own way. And Jack came out to all of us. Yes, Casey Ma, I'm second place. But you know what? Some people are like, you're so bitter. You always have to say you're second place. No, I'm just saying, and I do have to give huge shout out to the Zoomers. I did nothing but go boots on the ground. And I just went place to place to place, doing all I can. But yeah, I've won 2, but I've walked by 2. And those, I remember the walking by 2. Oh, that's a lot harder. When you're the 1-foot searcher, when it's 10 grand, that's tough.
But that's how you learn. You next time we go to look for a treasure, we're going to look everywhere and tear everything. You know what I mean? I think it's just a learning process. El Gatano says there's another Forest Fen forum starting up supposedly in March. You heard anything about that, K-Bro?
No, there's lots of different forums. It's hard to get them going. It's hard to, so yeah, that's great if they start up. But
the Thrill Chase is over though. But I guess if people want to talk about it, you have the Hint of Riches. But hey, if somebody wants to start a new one, go ahead.
Yeah, we're actually more busy on the Hint of Riches than we've ever been. Dale, so let's go through the rest of the event. So December 7th, Jack, against his will, was outed. And then Dale's site has shut down. A lot of people have moved over since Dale just shut down his site. I think it's great if you want to come over. Lots and lots of discussion happening. There are currently, I will say that I know of, 8 documentaries that are underway on the Forest Fen hunt.
Ocho. Okay. Now, how many are actually going to get made would be my question. You know.
So it depends on what they want. I know of one of them that is a small film festival. It's somebody's passion. It's just what they're going to do, whether it makes it big or not. There's 1 or 2, they have to be picked up by the major networks before they will. And so it's just kind of up in the air. There's some that are doing the backbiting. I've heard that this industry is one of the worst about backbiting and really toxic behavior. Unfortunately, that's happening too. No, I want that person. No, they signed with me. No, I'm going to sue them. No, I'm going to sue them. No, I'm going to threaten them. That, that's happening. All that's happening in the background. And I think that's going to probably happen, I think, for maybe the next 6 months. And either people are going to peel away because they don't want to be threatened and lawsuits and all that negativity, or they're going to just have their passion and they're going to put it out and they're going to love it. I'm not going to name any names. I know some people are like, what are you referring to? You guys will see. You guys will see what comes out. I'm a firm believer, and a lot of people call me naive, and I'm going to say, yes, I am. I believe good people win. So I am okay with watching how this progresses. And I'm too close to saying anything else at this point. So I'm just going to say, I think there's going to be some really, really great things that come out of this chase. Not only the new treasure hunts, but I'm also going to say, I think some documentaries are going to come out that are really good and pure to what this chase was. There might be some really, really negative, nasty ones as well. But we learn from those. You learn maybe more from failure and toxic and terrible than you do I'm somewhere in between. We have the light and fluffy that says, oh, we got people to come back together and it's family and you got to go boots on the ground. That's like 100% pure positive. And then you have the total tragedies. They gave up their lives. They gave up their homes. They gave up their families. And I will say, if ours goes, ours is going to be somewhere in between. We did get the last interview for a documentary that I know about, but we don't know where that's going to be at right now because, things are tough in the industry, and there's so many that are backbiting for that final spot. I think if it gets picked up by a major network, there's only going to be one major network that takes it on right now. And that's its own thing. So some people are really, this is their livelihood. So the treasure is gone, but now their new treasure is if they can sell their story or if they can sell whatever it is, and it's getting really ugly again. That's going to be 2021. We'll go into 2021 in a second. But
also, I think we should mention for 2020, and that's Jenny Kyle and her gold medallion hunts. One, she put out a code and cipher book that had forest words in it, and that was a whole $500 treasure hunt separate from that. But so she also did the gold medallion hunt. So congratulations to anybody out there that has a gold medallion. I know that me and K-Pro would be interested in acquiring one. So if anybody is interested in selling that, let us know, because it was at the World Series of Fen last year. All 3 were there. And we got to see it and we got to hold it, but we didn't actually get one. So I don't know how many are out there, but yeah, congratulations to her for, again, coming up with an idea and following through with it, making it happen.
Yeah, that's much like, I'm going to give huge shout out to Josh Pritchett. Like, him and I used to chat either on the phone or whenever. And he was like, I'm going to try that. That man's a doer. He does it. He got his friends. And then he's got some skills in figuring out how to make it all work. So Josh, I don't know if you're in here, but good on you. Yeah. So that all happened. So we talked about the 8 documentaries. So what do we have in store for the Worlds? What do we think is in store for us in 2021? Did we miss anything, guys? What do we have on 2020 that we forgot?
There's so many rides in the amusement park. I'm sure we missed something, but we try and capture it all. And again, guys, it's our channel. We decide what we want to talk about. That's just how it works. And I guess you could maybe you could say 2020 was the year of the YouTube. There's some other YouTube channels that have sprung up, but there's also 2020 was the year a lot of YouTube channels stopped because the thrill of the chase is over, and a lot of those YouTube people have stopped, and then new YouTube channels spring up. But you know what? Me and K-Pro are still here. We're still doing it. We still go live for Forest Fen Treasure Found. We still tell you about the rides in the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. And I just want to thank everybody for checking us out. Yeah, I mentioned Niamo Spec, AJ. AJ, when are you coming back to Priddle Mondays? I think we need you back. So let everybody know when you're going to come back and do them.
Yeah, so that's where we get into, I think there's a difference between treasure hunts and those that are really into puzzles. And I think someone like AJ is a great example of really wanting to use the puzzle mind to solve treasure hunts, but they have its own little niche. I love going into AJ and getting my darn cookie. It's like, I can't, Mike will be like, we're getting ready to go on. And I'm like, no, I need to get my cookie. So anyway, this has been, yeah. So.
And the Overland Mission, or the Mission Overland Hunts. That's right. The guy who was putting a coin in the National Forest. Barry Casey says, I found one, the Mississippi coin. So Mission Overland Hunt, if you Google Mission Overland Treasure Hunt, I think it'll come up. This guy is putting these little coins in all these different national forests that people can go see. So that one's awesome.
Yeah. So when we go to YouTube's, I remember a year ago, we had like, gosh, I want to say there was about 40. There was a guy, I don't know if you guys know him, especially those that are new. There was a guy named Sean Dotson that did the flip side. He did like a Jimmy Kimmel weekend review, or Jimmy Fallon weekend review. And he would review what happened in the Forest Fen Hunt and say, go over and check this person out or that person out. That's when there was a lot of tubers. There was some controversy. There always is once you get personalities involved. But we had Chasing Indy pop up. We had Amy Seeks pop up. We had Susie Fenhaven. She was like the person that was always there. Like, I always watched her from the beginning before she showed her face. Now that she shows her face, oh my gosh, I like her even more. So there's that still constant, then the still pop-ups, the Davios, etc. It's just fun. Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, we did get a super chat. Fergus T. Longacre super chats $20.21 for the new year 2021. Says, appreciate all your content. Good luck in 21. Thank you. We do appreciate that. And yeah, we're going to keep making videos. We're going to keep going live, giving you guys the info. And this year, we're going to find one. We were so close this year. For me and K-Pro personally, Catalina Island, right? You went to Catalina, didn't actually make it to the island, but we knew where it was. And shout out to Stefan, who actually pointed out to us it was on Catalina Island. So that was Mr. Clues. El Dorado Park is so close to us. We were there. We just missed it, but we were there. We made the effort. The red herring, the red herring you did find in Centennial Park, which is interesting because originally you went to the National Preserves, Springs Preserve, looking for it, and then realized, wait a minute, it's over here, and that one you found.
But do you remember why? Because Centennial was where you and I were thinking of doing the big hunt.
We were going to hide a proxy.
And when it said like 10,000 years ago, I was like, Mike, I think that's the sign there. And so it was because of treasure hunting. Boots on the ground clothing. We found that one the year before.
Boots on the ground.
$1,500.
This year, not us, hopefully somebody we know out there is actually going to solve one of these. There's a lot out there. I mean, there's Denver with the Beacon Star. There's Las Vegas with Vegas Die. There's 3 different cities for the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt. And there's these ones that are online. Mr. Clue will be out there somewhere, have something to do with the railroad. Master Morpheus, if he decides to do another one. Me and you are going to do another grand adventure, K-Pro. I've already got in mind what it is. But when we hit 5,000 subscribers, that's when I want to do a big one. I'll talk K-Pro into it. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you hit the all bell so you know when we go live. The Hatter's Hat is out there. 3D Bronze, Tell Me Where is another online one. The Enigma of Dolus. I mean, there's so many. Niamo Spec. Johnny Pieri, if you live in Michigan, and now he's got these candy bars where he'll fly you to Michigan or whatever, however it works. The Impossible Treasure Hunt. And then the Hunt for History in Washington County, Indiana. They're out there. The treasures are out there. You just have to find them. You got to put in the time to check it out.
Well, and I do have to say, little like sliver into my world, I do have a family member who, if you guys have ever watched Bering Sea Gold and Gold Rush, who happened to be a worker, meaning a gold miner person on those shows. So there might be some synergy. I've been thinking about trying to get those tangents going because I think there's something between them. But it's amazing because we might have some surprises, because here's a little bit of trivia, and Mike, don't say anything more. I might try to take Mike up to Alaska this year. Let's talk about 2021. I think Mike needs to go to Alaska because you said you want the gold. Isn't that what you said?
I want the gold. That's right. Sounds cold, but you know what? It's cold in Vegas, so why not? Chasing Indy points out, shout out to Corey, aka the Bunny, for solving her hocus pocus puzzles. That's right. Chasing Indy has done a bunch of puzzles this year as well. So yeah, Alaska. Hey, let's make it happen. I've never been to Alaska. Could be fun.
Yeah. So I think it would be fun to explore a few things. And so let's transition from 2020 was an epic year for treasure hunts in general. Some people say that Forest Fence started treasure hunts. I disagree. I think there was Masquerade. I think there was many treasure hunts before Forest. This was an epic year, though. There's no question. But what do we have in store in 2021 and beyond? I will say Amy Seeks was talking about somebody that wants to come out with something in 2021 that's of Forest proportion. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I don't know a lot about that, but there's some talk of that. But I do have to say, I do think one of these documentaries, if I were to bet, I don't know which one, is going to make it this year. We're going to see treasure hunting.
That would be awesome. At
a different level. Josh Gates with Expedition Unknown is one thing. I think a whole different level. HBO, Netflix, etc. I do have to say, I'm a total fish out of water. I was just telling Cynthia, I'm sitting in discussions on different networks and which is the best way to go between an Expedition Unknown, a History Channel, a Netflix, all of these different outlets, or major motion picture or a lower motion picture. And I'm going, I've never watched TV, and I'm sitting in these conversations going, which way do we go?
Another super chat from John Limbach. Thank you. $4.99. Thank you. We do appreciate it, everybody. And we appreciate everybody who's hit like on a video, who's commented on a video, who's donated the PayPal link, super chat, who sent us stuff in the mail, especially you people who have donated things for us to do another treasure hunt. We really appreciate that. That's what makes these things happen. I mean, that's what makes the treasure hunt community and the Thrill of the Chase community such a good community, in my opinion.
Well, and not only that, I can't tell you how many things pre-Mike or Mike got for the boys, but I can tell you, D-Pro, he did his first gold panning out of a gold pan. I think it came from John. I don't remember. Gosh, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. But he just had to pull out a shovel because we're going to the beach and he wants to do some sandcastles. And he's like, oh, I have treasure hunting shovels. And I'm like, yeah, you sure do. Because this community has been so kind to us. There is some amazing things that have happened. I believe this is the year that we have figured out, I'd say the last year or two, there is a community that is forming. This is not just an independent person going out and trying to find winner beats all, one person. I believe we are forming a community and a market. And the market are the people like David Steele that is putting his money where his mouth is. He's working his butt off. I don't agree with everything. He has some little nuances. I think he says too much, or I wouldn't have said that or done that or whatever. But gosh, what a fun, spirited human being that is doing good things. So that this community is changing because of people like him and Josh Pritchett and Forrest Fenn and Chasing Indy and Mr. Clue and
AGK coming out with another treasure hunt
AGK
next year.
and Bobby D's of the world, and Lucy. I got to give a shout out to Lucy. She's like, I remember her in the early Zooms. I don't really know if I should put my opinion in, but I'm going to. Here's a thought. She came up with some major stuff as just a random searcher that wanted her. Just here's a little voice. I'm going to put it in. And she became epic for me, at least, of I'm going to try to get into this more. So anyway, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your education is. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you are extroverted or introverted, if you're poor, if you're not, if you're educated, PhDs need crutches, remember that. If you are whatever if you're a cop, if you're a scientist, if you are unemployed, it doesn't matter. We all come together. And that's the biggest takeaway that I take for this. I'm now doing some research in the types of people. They are the ones that need a spirit behind them, that need or have a spirit behind them, that really are focused. I'm on my soapbox. I'm going to shut up. Go ahead, Mike.
And I hope that in 2021, there are some new treasure hunts that come out. We know about Mr. Clue, we know about Copper Dan, and we know about AGK. Those are definites. Those are going to come out in 2021, sooner rather than later, I believe. And AGK did just go live. They're doing a New Year's Eve special. So everybody go check that out as soon as we get off. But I hope there are some other treasure hunts that are coming out, legitimate ones. And I hope they're going to be big. And what I ask the community is, if you hear wind of any of these treasure hunts, let us know. Email me so we can go live and talk about them and get the news out to the community. Sometimes you may think that's a little bit contradictory, because the more people that work on it, the quicker it'll be solved. But we're all a community. We all want to have fun. So any new treasure hunts, let us know. And we will go live and talk about it.
Yeah. And I think that there's going to be a couple of bigger ones coming out. I can tell you there is a treasure hunt creator. We got a reach out from. I asked if I could go and have a conversation just to kind of help. He just has an idea. And that's what we need. People with ideas and a little bit of resources and how we can help. So once we have a little bit more there, but I think I would say within the next week or two, there's going to be another bigger hunt out there, meaning 10,000 and above kind of thing. And I think that's where it gets fun at a whole different level. That'll bring more people in. It's just fun. I'm waiting for the next big one that we can. Tumble Bear Load wasn't not $1 million hunt, but it got me excited. So waiting for that one in that same sort of way.
Okay, well, I think that's it. 2020 is about to come to a close here in 45 minutes for the East Coast and about 4 hours for us. And there's Randy. There's Mr. Beacon Star himself. Oh, that's the other thing, is Randy has given a possibility, very tiny, but a possibility of doing a new treasure hunt, which he all says, if you hate the Beacon Star, you'll really hate this new one. So, Randy, I hope you get it out next year, 2021. And yeah. We hope we see everybody at the World Series of Fen in just 30 days. Oh, the other thing is less than 30 days. There is a link to Bally's down in the description, right down there. If you want to get a room, that's a discount that we got Bally's to give us. It expires in 2 weeks. So if you're going to use that discount, make sure you do it within the next 2 weeks. Okay. Let us know if you're coming. We are going to have a lot of fun. How about if somebody did a treasure hunt for the World Series of Fen? Now, me and K-Pro aren't, because we're so busy with this wedding. But if somebody else was to come and create a treasure hunt that's for that weekend, wouldn't that be cool? Nomadic Madman, thank you. And thank everybody for watching. Anything else, K-Pro?
I would just say the biggest thing I've gotten out of the hunt, it sounds so cliche-ish, but it is the friendships. I will say, even though 2020 had some hardships, I got engaged. Mike, do you remember which day? I had to write it down. I had to look it up. But do you remember which day? Do you remember which day?
Oh, it was, I want to say it was Friday. It was right before I went to Michigan.
October 23rd, we got engaged, and 2021 is going to be big.
It was, in fact, a Friday. I had that part right. Okay.
And it just tells you right now, Indy, she's a bridesmaid. Cynthia, she's a bridesmaid. Why? Because searchers have become the fabric of who I am. They've been my friends. They are there through thick and thin. There's just so much happening again, we're a community. I hope we can come together a little more. It's been a little rough, but that's what we are. Good and bad, we're going to be all here for each other. So I think we're going to have John Bobbitt over tomorrow.
Shout out
Somebody
to
else.
John Bobbitt.
Yeah, somebody else we met in the chase. So that's what we're about, is building friendships, building relationships. So I hope that that's what we build even more so in the years to come. And maybe we take Mike's advice of positivity over negativity, because I know some people are still in a negative spot, but I hope they get better. So
It will be a good year next year. I think it has to be, right? After all the craziness of this year. So, okay. I think that's it, everybody. AGK's on. Go check them out. And Happy New Year, everybody. We hope you had a good 2019. If you did, and if you didn't, we hope your 2020 is better. And I guess we'll just end it with this.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year. All right, we're out.